Are you feeling stuck, overwhelmed, and unsure of your next move in life or business? Are you seeking a supportive community where you can receive daily inspiration, accountability, guidance, and coaching to help you thrive? Introducing Energize Her Mornings.
Are you listening? Damn.
The exclusive accountability community for driven women to experience empowerment and uplifting. Energize Her Mornings is the best accountability membership program hosted by founder Tameka Chapman, created specifically for women who are struggling with their first or next move in life and business. Welcome to the Leading Executive, the preferred leadership development, leadership training, and soft skills learning management platform for various organizations. At the Leading Executive, we believe in elevating your leaders' skills with experiential learning. Our platform offers a wide range of leadership training and soft skills courses that are designed to help your leaders unlock their full potential. Whether you're an individual looking to enhance your leadership skills or an organization looking to develop your team, the Leading Executive has got you covered. Our courses are designed to be engaging, interactive, and practical, ensuring that your leaders not only learn the skills but also apply them in real-life situations. Our motto is unlock your leaders' full potential. We believe that every leader has the potential to be great, and our platform is designed to help them get there. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today and start unlocking your leader's full potential with the Leading Executive. The Leading Executive, elevate your leader skills with experiential learning. Mogul TV Global Network is the #1 streaming TV network for positive programming. Built on the pillars of culture, diversity, and legacy, Mogul TV Global Network is the award-winning platform serving men, women, and families with a purpose, positivity, and passion, while celebrating life by educating, inspiring, entertaining, and empowering viewers around the globe to live their lives on purpose. Visit www.themogulchannel.com. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to day 4 of the Energize Her Leadership Summit. I'm your host, Tamika Chapman, and I'm just excited to be here again. Listen, welcome. If this is your first night tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want you to go back and watch the replays of the past 3 nights. You missed a good thing, all right? And tonight, it's just as jam-packed. Matter of fact, it's probably more jam-packed tonight than other nights. But I'm so excited. Hi, Ivory. Thank you for joining us tonight. And as you come on, we are going to ask you to do the same thing we've done every single night. We want you to share this broadcast, share these presentations, share these women with your audience, with other women that you know, like, love, and trust, that you want to see them, get better. You want to see them embrace life. You want to see them take their next step in life, whatever that is. Share this with them so that they can get filled as well. All right. So now that I got that out the way, we're going to get started with the Energizer Leadership Summit. Again, I told you that this is a jam-packed night. Before I get started, I'm just going to let you know who's all here tonight, all right? We have keynote speaker, Miss Veronica Burnett. We have an amazing panel of just phenomenal women. We have Tameka, Lloyd, LaJune Singleton, Kim Stringer, and Miss Tamara Gooch. Listen, I'm giddy because I'm excited. We also have our workshop presenter, Dr. Stefany Jones, and we have our keynote speaker, Sanita Mitchell. Again, jam-packed. Y'all don't want to miss one moment of this. So again, as you're coming on, just make sure you let us know you hear hey, hi, hello, and share this broadcast with others so that we can definitely reach more women that need to hear what is being said tonight. So as we get started, I just want to share a message with you all. On feeding you first, right? So it's all about you, and it's about feeding yourself, but feed you first. I know we've heard that saying of, if something was to happen, if the airplane's getting ready to go down, give yourself oxygen first. So it's really that same concept, right? But now I want to make sure that you are feeding you first. And what are you feeding yourself? Again, you want to make sure that you're feeding yourself with good stuff, right? So I'm going to touch on 6 different areas of your life, of you, six different areas of you that needs to be fed. So first, we're going to start with your mind. Everything starts with mindset, right? Everything starts with our mind, how we think, because what we're thinking about ourselves or about other things is normally what we're going to do and how we're going to act, react, and behave towards things, right? So again, feed your mind with good stuff, daily affirmations, prayer, positive self-talk, whatever that is that's going to help you get up, get started, move through your day. Feed yourself first. Feed yourself a good word. Feed yourself a good word. Speak life into you, right? So again, it's all about feeding you first. Feed your mindset. Let that be the first thing that you do after you pray when you wake up, okay? So you praying, and then you begin to feed yourself. That prayer is going to lead directly into you feeding yourself. So again, the first area of you that I want you to feed is your mind, and that is feeding your mind with a good word, good affirmation, and some positive self-talk. So the second area that I want you to feed you first is I want you to feed your body with some good nutrition. Right? Feed your body with good nutrition. Like, we only have this one body, y'all. So unless you want to be spending $100,000, probably it's gonna be, with the rate of inflation and all that stuff, probably $1 million to go get some stuff done to yourself later in life, right? Treat your body as if you love your body. And I know it's easier said than done. I'm raising my hand because listen, I just ate some salt and vinegar chips. This is transparency, y'all. Okay. However, you must take care of you. Take care of your body. So feed yourself some good nutrition. I'm going to counterbalance that salt and vinegar chips I had with some good carrots and broccoli. Okay. So again, just make sure you are feeding you first. Feed your body with good nutrition so that it lasts. Feed your body with good nutrition so that your body will be good to you. It's all about feeding you first. There are things that you're wanting to do in life, right? There are goals that you want to achieve. There are, vacations that you want to go on. You can't go on those vacations if you're not in a healthy state. All right. So again, the second area of you that I want you to feed is your body with good nutrition. The third area of you that I want you to feed is your soul. Listen, feed your soul with a good word, some good vibes, and some good friends. All right. And if you can't get that anywhere else, if you tune in tonight, you're going to get that right here on the Energizer Leadership Summit. A good word, some good vibes, and some good friends. Feed your soul. What is it? When medicine is the best medicine. Well, no, laughter is the best medicine. That's what it says. Laughter is the best medicine. Well, you'll get laughter once you surround yourself and feed yourself with a good word, with some good vibes, and some good friends. So feed you first. I know we have all of these commitments that we have to take care of. We have all of these extra things that we must do. I was just telling Veronica, and I think I've told several other women throughout the week that I have a lot of things going on in my life right now. However, I have to remember to feed me first. If I don't feed me, I can't help nobody. And Coach Tamika, you looking? I see you looking at me. Okay. Yes. I remember her telling me this. LaJune, I can't see, but I'm sure she over there shaking her head too. Okay. However, feed your soul with a good word, some good vibes, and some good friends. All right. So the fourth area of you that I want you to feed your creativity. Again, we are on this path doing all of these things, taking care of all of these people, and we're not focusing on the things that we really wanted to do in life. We have let us lay by the wayside. We trampling over ourselves too, right? Just like everybody else doing. But what I want you to do is I want you to begin to feed your creativity. And how do you do that? You get in a community that will support that. Get in a community that will speak life into you actually, tapping back into your creativity, because that's really all it takes. It takes you seeing it, it takes you wanting it, and it takes people who are going to support you and speak and say, I'm your cheerleader today, okay? I'm your cheerleader. If that's what you want to do and that's what you have time to do, let's do the thing. Let's go, right? They're going to cheer you on when you win, and they're also going to cheer you on when you learn those hard lessons, all right? Either way, you want to surround yourself with a community that's going to support you, that wants to see you win. So that's the fourth area. So we've hit on the mind, body, soul, and your creativity. So the fifth area of you that I want you to feed is your spirit. Yes, your spirit. And I separated soul and spirit because I'm saying the spirit because right now we are not giving ourselves grace. I talked about giving yourself grace probably about a month or so ago to a group. And it's all about self-forgiveness. How do we forgive self though? It's easy for us to say, I forgive you when somebody apologizes to us, but we hold ourselves hostage, right? We would not allow ourselves to have grace. We will not allow ourselves to be forgiven for the things that we feel that we shouldn't be forgiven for. So you got to deal with that stuff right there. You got to deal with, why am I holding myself back? Why am I holding my mental hostage? Why am I holding myself hostage and not allowing me to move forward towards my next greater? Is it that I don't feel like I deserve it? Why? Why do you feel you don't deserve it? If you are willing to say, I forgive you to someone else, you should be just as willing to say, I forgive me. I forgive myself for the thoughts that I had. I forgive myself for not taking action. I forgive myself for not going forward and going towards my goal. I forgive myself for not putting myself in the right situations or the right community to support me, to push me, to hold me accountable. I forgive myself. And so once you begin to forgive yourself, the only thing you must do at that point is take the next step. Do the things that you are forgiving yourself for. Because what you cannot do is get caught on that circle of, okay, I'm not going to do it. Okay, I'm going to just forgive myself, but I'm still not going to do it. So we're not doing that, right? We're not sugarcoating anything tonight, all right, y'all? So again, the fifth area of you that I want you to feed is your spirit with self-forgiveness. Learn to forgive you just as much as you forgive others, all right? And the last area of you that I want you to feed is your life. Yes. Feed your life with love and laughter. Yes, forgiveness is great. Love is greater. Love is everything. All right. I want you to feed your life with love and laughter. I like to laugh, y'all. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to find a way to laugh. A lot of times it's been my coping mechanism for not having to deal with things, but I've learned to do better. But now I just love to laugh. I have kids that make me laugh all day long. I have to do nothing but sit back and watch. They're going to do something to make me laugh. My husband, he makes me laugh. I can't help it, right? And when I'm in a down mood and he sees it, he's going to act a fool just to get me to laugh, just to get me to chuckle. And I appreciate that. So again, I want you to feed you. Find ways to laugh. Find things to do, or find things that you can watch or be a part of that's going to allow you to just live. Just live in the moment. Be present in your moment. Love your life. Laugh in life and just enjoy it all.
And at the end of the day, once you feed your mind, your body, your soul, your creativity, your spirit, and your life, listen, you're ready. You are ready. But it's not just a one time thing, it is an intentional choice every single day to focus on feeding you first. All right. So, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you for being here. I know that tonight is going to be an amazing night. Tonight's going to be really good, y'all. I'm just going to tell you that tonight's going to be really good. I'm so excited to hear the presentations of our upcoming keynotes and our panels and our workshop presenters. It's going to be good. And I pray that you all get out of this whatever you came here to get. Um, yeah, you're going to get something, okay? What you get, I pray that it's exactly what it is that you came for. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our first keynotes. Ms. Veronica Burnett. Veronica Burnett is a certified life coach, author, and advocate for healthy relationships. She advocates for healthy relationships, educates about domestic violence, and coaches those who are ready for a fresh start. She empowers those who work with her to seek and expect healthy relationships of all kinds. Her mission in life is to educate, empower, and encourage others to live their best lives. And today, she is committed to doing just that. So help me welcome Miss Veronica Burnett. Hi, Veronica. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. So thank you for being here tonight. I look forward to your presentation, and the floor is yours.
Ma'am. Hello and welcome everyone to the Energizer Leadership Summit. I'm so glad that you are here with us this week. If you haven't tuned in every night, go back and watch the replays. I promise you're going to get some really, really great gems and nuggets to push you forward. So I have one question for you because I have 15 minutes and I'm going to talk fast. So first, get your notebook, a piece of paper, something, and a pen because I tell stories, and within my story is the gems that you need. Okay. First question: who gets fired on their day off? This girl. Don't get excited because it wasn't my big full time job, but really I did get fired on my day off, and it was because I was hiding. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about the reasons for hiding, and that it's time for you to stop hiding. All right, go with me on this journey really quick. January 26, 2023, I was praying. And during that prayer time, God said something that arrested me. He said, "You cannot be in the forefront if you remain in his shadows." Friends, it's time to stop hiding. That was scary for me because it meant that I was going to be exposed. Now, who wants to be exposed? Who wants to feel like they are completely naked and vulnerable out here, right? All in these internet streets. Anyway, I did what he said, but not fully. You'll understand why in a minute. During that time, I had to end some relationships. I had to walk away from some people, step away from some things, and I had to take a deep dive into a faith journey with God. All I knew was working in the background, being the support person, being the one that helped everybody come to their decisions and helping them put together their strategies and encouraging them, even going as far as helping with the implementation of their businesses and their ideas. How many of you have been that wonderful supportive friend, that wonderful supportive coworker, colleague, all of the things, right? So early January last year, I wrote these lofty goals. And first of all, I write them down so I don't forget. Second of all, I wrote them down so that when the time came that they were fulfilled, I could write down the date that it happened and just see how long it took me to get to it, right? So I prayed, I wrote it all down, and then I put some scriptures on that thing. Listen, I was serious about this. So one of the things that I wrote was that I wanted to do this huge business venture. It was something that was outside of the norm for me and made me a bit uncomfortable. But I felt like I needed someone else to hold my hand.
I didn't feel like I could do it myself. So I reached out to one young lady and we talked. She gave me some really good advice, some pointers, and then she kind of suggested and redirected me somewhere else. And I'm not gonna lie, I was in my feelings because I wanted this person to help me. I got over myself really, really quickly because that's her thing. And God had another plan for me, right? I didn't see what he was doing. So I go to him and say, listen, how are we going to do this? That's how I talk to him. Or how are we doing this? Because I don't know how to do it. And you said to do this. How do I do this? So I go along with about my life and I'm doing things. And a couple of months later, what I was looking for found me. The help found me. I was so excited, right? So, and I ran with it and I happily followed. So my next communication with God was that he revealed more of the vision to me that he had. And so how many of you know that God can't give you all of the vision and every step because he knows that if he tells you the end result, you may skip everything in the middle trying to get to the end, but you miss all of the valuable steps, all of the valuable lessons that you'll learn along the way. The lessons you learn when you fail, when you fall, when you make a mistake, you learn from those things. And God knew that I needed one step at a time. I needed that because I was faith challenged. And remember, I said we were on this faith journey together, growing my faith. And when I say faith challenge, I want to use that word because I can say lack of faith, but that means I had none. And I know I did. It was just challenging for me to exercise it. So stick with me because I'm going somewhere. This business venture was so good and it spun into something else. And then I was about to do a third thing right after that. And this was going to be good. So I was busy. I mean, busy. I was busy helping someone else build their brand and their business, right? So the day before, my business partners and I were supposed to come together and do a thing. We get this text message, and the text message said, "This is it. Good luck on your future endeavors." And I didn't get it. Now, the rest of you may be able to read between the lines, but really I didn't because I was so invested in this person's business and their brand. So we're sitting there, we're waiting, and we're sending messages and texting and calling, and we were met with silence. And then more silence. And then, do you know, it took me to the evening to figure out that I was fired. How many of you have been fired? But because you are so invested in someone else's success in their business, you missed all of the signs, all of the messages leading up to it. Have you ever thought that that was for a reason? So let me tell you what God said to me after that realization. He said, I told you to stop hiding. Just like that. Stop hiding behind other people. When I tell you, it was like a ton of bricks that fell on me. And I felt so embarrassed because I had easily slipped right back into my old ways. Here I was thinking that this thing was perfect for me. Now, don't get me wrong, I learned a lot. And I'm still going to use everything I learned in the middle. But my attitude during that time and my posture was not what God had in mind for me. I was back to hiding behind someone else's business rather than fully stepping out there. That's what he told me on January 26th. Stop hiding behind someone else. So let me tell you what hiding is. It's when you shrink yourself and you put your assignment on the back burner to do everything else rather than what you're supposed to be doing. A good friend of mine told me that hiding is a selfish act and it robs people of experiencing your true potential. If God is giving you something and provided you with everything you need, then why not use it? Why not use your God-given abilities? What's the purpose of being smart if you can't teach someone else? What's the purpose of writing down the plans in your journal, making those 5 beautifully crafted vision boards, saying all of these prayers, writing scriptures, everything, saying all the affirmations, and then you don't act on them? What's the point? It's just an arts and craft activity. Let me tell you what this looks like. So I wrote down this vision in January 2023. God told me to come from behind someone else, come to the forefront. And instead of allowing God to order my steps, I followed someone else instead. So it looks like writing this vision and slapping a prayer on it. You know, the famous one that we all quote, Habakkuk 2, verses 2 through 3. I'm going to read it to you real quick. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Listen, we use that scripture all the time. Write the vision, make it plain. Write the vision, make it plain. So we write it. But because we lack patience to see it through, we jump on the first train, hitch ourselves to the caboose, and follow. If God said, come from amongst them and be separated, how do you go back and be a follower? I'll let you answer that for yourself. So why do we hide? And what are we hiding from? We hide because we're afraid of our own potential and we are faith challenged. So I was watching this podcast the other day, and a guy named Pastor James shared 5 things that will stop us from growing. And I'm going to add on to it 5 things that help us, that keep us from flourishing. And here they are. So the first one is pride, because I'm reading it because I don't want to miss it. And I added my spin. Pride. We don't want people to know who we are. That's prideful to keep it to yourself. Rebellion. That's being disobedient. Ignorance, because we may not know everything and it keeps us from flourishing. Laziness. Now, I'm going to say this is disguised as procrastination, but sometimes it really is laziness, because sometimes you just don't want to get off that sofa and stop watching those wonderful shows on Netflix. Fear of everything and the lies that we tell ourselves. And so the next 5 are my own. Seeking validation. How many of you seek validation? Afraid to develop into the person we need to be to go to the level we want to be. Other people's opinions, they don't matter anymore. Memories of past failures, jealousy, abandonment. I'll let you put your own in there, okay? Now let me tell you how to free yourself, because I don't want to leave you hanging. Free yourself from this hiding place. And I'm going to give you the keys, but these keys are to get you out of prison. I can give you 5 steps. I can give you 10 strategies, but it's really not a formula. It's more about your mindset. It's about the faith that you need to keep going, that helps you to know that you can get out of this. So you ready? This is what I want you to write down. If you write nothing else tonight, I have power, authority, and permission to operate in my God-given assignment. Write it again. I have power, authority, and permission to operate in my God-given assignment. Luke 10, verse 19 says, behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. So repeat after me. I have power, authority, and permission to operate in my God-given assignment. If that one doesn't ring in your ears, I want you to go find a scripture and come up with your own declaration, okay? Because that's what these are. There are a few more, and then I'm going to let you go. I no longer need man's permission and validation to do what God has given me to do. I'm trusting God every step of the way. What God has shown me is available to me. I will carry this vision and believe that God has the best plan for my life. I will compare myself only to myself and no one else. Here's a good one. I will not fear. I had to write that one down on paper and tape it to my doors as I was coming in the room and going out of the room. Use it. It will help you. I will not fear. God will provide everything I need. I will pray and believe big, bold prayers. No more weak prayers. No more weak prayers. He told me that one too. I will pray and believe big, bold prayers. And the last one, I will remain on fire about my assignment. So listen, in order to be a good leader, you can no longer live in the shadows of anyone else. Don't get stuck in a familiar place, following and being comfortable when you're meant to be a leader. God has equipped you with everything you need to carry out your assignments. So if you're hiding behind other people's assignments and businesses, don't wait to get fired to do what he's assigned you to do. Ask him to light the path for you to follow him out of the dark and into the light, from jail to freedom, from the back to the front. Leaders, it's time for you to come out of hiding. Come out of hiding. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned for the next speakers, and I will answer any questions that you all have. I'm waiting for Miss Tamika to come back up, but let me know in the comments if there's something that resonated with you. Hey, Tamika. You're muted.
Y'all know I get to talk, and I'm so excited. I forget that I'm on mute, y'all. Listen, I apologize, but go ahead on. For all of you that are joining in, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Make sure you share this broadcast to make sure that everybody that you know gets a listening ear of this. But if you have any comments regarding Veronica's presentation, I know I got something I got to say. I want y'all to put it put it in the chat so that she can definitely respond to you. I love when you talked about no longer asking for people's permission. You don't need validation. Okay. You don't need validation. You don't need permission. You don't need their approval. If it's what God told you to do, you move forward in that thing. You don't need to wait on somebody else to say, okay, you take this step first. Okay, now you take this one. Because they're only going to allow you to take a step that's not going to exceed where they are. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I want to encourage all women who are tuning in, make sure, go back and listen to Veronica and write all of them down. Like I was trying to put them in the chat here and trying to take notes myself. However, go back and tune in and listen to all of the pieces of the puzzle that's going to allow you to stop hiding in someone else's shadow, stop hiding behind the work of someone else, especially when God has spoken to you, right? So thank you, Veronica. I appreciate you for sharing. I appreciate you for being here. How can everyone find you, connect with you, so they can get on that on that train of, you know, no longer seeking validation, permission, and the approval of others?
So you can find me on my website, veronicaburnett.com. You can find me on Instagram at betterdays.llc. So those are the two places you can find me hanging out the most. And I'm on LinkedIn under my name, Veronica Scales Burnett, because that was my maiden name. But yeah, mostly right there, Veronica Burnett. And there are all the ways to reach me, my workshops, everything that I'm doing is right there on my website.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing more and doing more. All right.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good evening. All right. Listen, if you're just tuning in, hello, hi. Thank you for being here. I'm Tameka Chapman, host of the Energizer Leadership Summit, and we're having a good time. And we're about to have even a more greater time because these next ladies that's coming up here on the stage, we're going to have a conversation all about mudslides, mudslides and miracles. Listen, I had to share that when they come on here. So let me introduce these ladies. Okay. Let me do the right thing. All right. So we have Miss Kimberly Stringer, called Just Kim. Okay. We call it, they call her Just Kim. She's a Tallahassee native, an educator, life coach, speaker, and visionary leader known for her vibrant personality and ability to inspire. Thank you for joining me, Miss Kim Stringer. All right. We have Coach Tamica. What can I say? What can I say? So we have Coach Tamika. Okay, hold on, let me make Coach Tamika Lloyd with a master's degree in health communication and certifications in integrative nutrition, health coaching, and relationship coaching. She is deeply committed to promoting health, fitness, nutrition, and happiness. So when I talked about feed your body with good nutrition, listen, she was looking at me, y'all. Okay. All right. So next we have Miss Tamara Gooch. Miss Tamara Gooch, let me make sure. Multi-passionate and serial entrepreneur, master certified coach, transformational speaker, international best-selling author, and podcast show host. Listen, she empowered busy moms to unlock their superpower, overcome mental blocks, and turn their clutter into clarity. Welcome, Miss Tamara Gooch. Welcome. And lastly, we have LaJune Singleton. Sound like a show, right? All right, so we have LaJune Singleton. She is the CEO and founder of LaJune Singleton LLC, Move to Heal, a fitness, sports, mind, body, health, and wellness business, right? Let's see, hold on. She is the author of Releasing My Trauma, The Root of Self-Sabotage, an actress, self-podcaster, speaker, and with 14 years of experience working with busy, diverse professional women over 30 and girls 3 and up. Listen, this is a diverse panel, y'all. Listen, I'm surrounded by greatness, and I feel they might come down on me if I say too much. Hey, Dr. Tavish in the building. Dr. Shaniqua, thank you for being here. Mary Just Travels Tisdale, thank you. I appreciate you all for being here. Linton and Ivory, I appreciate you. Anisha, thank you. Thank you all for being here. Make sure you all share this. Let other women know that these amazing women are here at the Energizer Leadership Summit. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. All right. Oh, Mr. Dame in the building. Hey, Mr. Dame. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, Mr. Dame. All right. So as we get started, again, we're talking about mudslides and miracles. And this came to me not because I was thinking about it, but it was a download because I was just like, okay, what do we talk about and how do we talk about it? How should this be worded so that people can understand the magnitude of what it is that we're trying to get across? When I think of a mudslide, I think of how I was telling my sister the other day. I said, you know, when it's muddy outside, I'm from Louisiana, y'all. So when it's muddy outside and you still got that water that's pouring down, you slipping and you sliding and you looking for a piece of grass or a branch to hold on to pull you back over to safety. And if you don't find it, you're just going to keep sliding, right? It's just that muddy path. And the miracle side comes in because it's that but God time, right? It's that but God season, right? You know, we were grasping for that grass and we couldn't find it. We couldn't grab on because it wasn't long enough. But then it was just that one little patch that we saw coming up. We said, you know, if you just give me the strength to just reach out at the right time and hold on to it and keep holding on to it, it's going to be all right. I'm going to get off of this mudslide. So that's what tonight is all about. It's about overcoming life challenges, right? Because again, those things that's happening to us, it's all about life. It's what it is that's happening to us in life. And so I'm excited to be here. I thank each of you for being here. I know this is going to be an amazing conversation as we talk about these mudslides and miracles. So we're going to start with Kim. Just Kim. Can you share a challenge that you have faced when it felt like it was just a mudslide that you couldn't find your patch of grass, right? Can you share a mudslide that you've gone through in your life? And then tell us, how did you overcome, or how did you manage to find the strength to overcome that thing?
Good evening, everyone. The first time that I could remember in my adult life was September 14th, 2012 at 2:00 in the morning. And I remember it so well because that was the day that my father transitioned. And I could just remember the heartbreak. I could remember the pain. And I am my mother's only child. My parents were married. He has another daughter, but I'm my mom's only child. So I was the only one that grew up in the house, except did have some cousins that lived with us at one point in my life. But as I got older, it's just me and my parents. And I love them. And I had a son when I went off to college, but back in 2012, when my daddy transitioned, that felt like a mudslide. My hope was gone. But I knew that I couldn't give up because I still had a son and I still had my mother. And I watched her go through so many different things in her life. Hello, Mom. I know she's watching. Cynthia Street, she's watching. But I watched her go through so many things in her life, but I also watched her be a resilient woman. I also watched her believe in God in spite of everything that she had to go through. So I knew that I couldn't give up. I knew that I had to hold on to something. But like you said, it felt like a mudslide. My whole life was turned upside down because I love this man. I was with him for 30 years, and in October it would have been 31 years when I turned 31. But he just did so much, not just for me, but in the lives of everybody that he touched. And so when he transitioned, I just felt like I don't know. It's very hard to describe. I can remember waking up every morning and it felt like my heart would break into a million pieces all over again when you remember. But I remember that he was sick. So when I woke up, I remember I don't have to go through this again.
Wow.
I don't have to go through this again. So I was able to get myself back together. And the way that I got through that, when you talked about the mudslide, I thought to myself, sometimes you got to go with the current. Because there's absolutely, when you're going through something like that, there's nothing that I can't swim against the current or try to get back because he's not coming back. And I can remember talking to God and I said, Lord, I don't want to go through this because, I used to love psychology when I was in high school and everything. And I took it in college. And I remember that there were 5 stages of grief. So I said, Lord, I don't want to go through all of these stages. Help me to get through it. I don't want to do it. I know that I can't bargain to get him back. It's not going to happen. I don't want to be mad at you because, there's nobody else that I can be upset with. And God said to me, he said, Kim, you got to go through it. You have to. You have to go through it. He also said, but I'll be with you while you're going through it. So I relied on my relationship with God to get me through that. I had to feel what I felt. And I understood. I used to say that I had every right to feel like that. My feelings were valid, but I don't have a right to stay there. I don't have a right to stay there because see, the Bible tells us, and I think it's 1st or 2nd Thessalonians chapter 5, it's rejoice evermore. That wasn't a suggestion,
right,
at all. So I had to get into a place like I was like Habakkuk in chapter 3, verse 17 and 18, where he was talking about all of this might happen. The fields may yield no meat, all of that. Yet I will joy in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. And because he is my salvation, and I know that God is still God, I was able to get through that thing. Yes, I had to cry sometimes. Look, my granddad used to sing this song. I lay awake at night. Sometimes I have to cry sometimes, trouble in my way. But that's all right. Because I know that Jesus will fix it. I know he will. So I relied on the hope that Jesus will fix it. He'll fix that thing. And I had to continue to think differently about my situation. I had to think differently about the transition of my father. See, I was being selfish, but my daddy was hurt. He was hurting. He was ready to get out of this thing. And then when I thought about it, see, he graduated. He don't have to worry about the troubles in this world anymore. He didn't have to do all of that. So I had to stop being selfish, and I had to understand that my daddy, he look, he did what God did what he did. There's no point in me being upset with him. Now, did I have those troubles at the difficult times? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, from September, because September is when he died, October is his birthday, my birthday, and my son's birthday.
Wow.
October. Then we have November, all of the holidays in November, December. I love my family. We're just a family that we grew up together. Even though we were in 2 different states, every weekend I would go to my grandparents' house in Thomasville, Georgia. I lived in Tallahassee, and we eat together on Sundays, all of that. So whenever we got together, I love seeing everybody, but just remembering that my daddy wasn't there, it would hurt me a little bit. So from September to December of every year, I had this black, dark cloud over my life. And it wasn't until December of 2021, I was talking to someone, I think I was on the phone or something, and my grandmother said, Kim, come here. She heard me talking about my daddy. She said, come here. She said, I want you to learn how to let that go. I said, what? My dad? She said, yeah. She said, not let him go. It's okay. So it took me 9 years to be delivered from that spirit of grief. I was okay the first the first 6 months of the year. The first 8 months of the year, Lord. The first 8 months of the year. But the last 4, it took a toll on me mentally, emotionally. And my grandmother told me that I needed to repent. She said, because you made his death an idol. Not me, Lord. Yes, you did. Because see, you wanted to hold on to that thing. You wanted you wanted to think about him so much during that time. And you put him up here and you put his death up here. She also said, you got to remember that you still have a mama. So I told God, thank you right there. Look, I still have my mama. And I thank you for that. So I had to stick with God. And there was one thing that my grandmother used to tell me every time I would get off the phone with her. She said, okay, Kim, stay in the word. And I'm like, what is stay in the word? How are you telling me this? She knew the day was going to come where my daddy had to leave me, where she was going to have to leave me, where my cousins were going to have to leave us, all of that. And she knew that if I knew the word and I hid it in my heart, that I was going to be able to get through those things. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but there are 2 scriptures that I live by every single day. I have them on my calendar. At 6 a.m., I have Philippians chapter 4, verses 7 through 9, because it tells us what to think about. See, that's the thing. Everything that I think about, I'm going to start saying out of my mouth. We know that our words have power. So I decided that I'm going to think on things that not about the transition of my daddy, but if I think about him, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rejoice in the Lord. And then at 6 p.m., I have 2 Corinthians 10:5, where I have to cast down those imaginations. See, I'm good during the day when I'm at work with, I'm an educator. So I'm at work dealing with kids, dealing with parents, dealing with other teachers, and I'm good. But at 6 o'clock, when it's time for me to go home, and then I have to deal with what I have to deal with. It's just me and God now, because my son is in Tallahassee. He left back in 2019 once he graduated to go to FAMU. And so now it's me and God. So at 6 p.m., Lord, I need you to help me cast down these imaginations and every high thing that is also against the knowledge of God, and bring into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. And I've learned how to do that in my life. So whenever the mudslides come, I'm going to go with the current. That's all right. It's all right. Because guess what it's doing? It's clearing the path for something else to grow in that space in the future. Thank you so much.
That's a journey, and I appreciate you for sharing. Again, this platform is all about being transparent, right? So your journey and what you've gone through and how you've had to manage your way through it is definitely going to open someone else up to saying, okay, if she did it, I can too. Let me just take a few of the things that she did and apply that to my life right now, because I'm going through it right now. So if you're going through some things, just know that you're not alone. You're not alone, right? Coach Tamica, when we are on our journey of, becoming and we're on our journey of trying to figure out what's really going on in life, right? Or why is this happening? What's going on? Why did it happen? Why is it happening to me? Of all the people, I'm out here doing all the good stuff. Why is this happening to me? How would you say that we should tap into or find our inner strength to deal with the challenges that we're facing?
I always have to go inward. My mudslide started back when I was 14, when I lost both my parents within a month of each other, that ended up being homeless at 16. So it wasn't until I decided to really take a step back at that time. And God always sends angels, sometimes not in the form that you think that they should come in. And so for me, it was in the form of a rabbi. And he taught me the importance of always checking in with myself. He says, this is a lie. And I said, what do you mean this is a lie? I'm hungry. That's not a lie. My stomach is growling. I'm living out in the street next to these rats. That's not a lie. I'm looking at it. He's like, no, it's a lie. He says, this can be whatever you want it to be, but it starts in here and it starts in here. And so sometimes when we're going through the mud, sometimes we give up too quickly because we can't see, because we are, as Veronica said, faith challenged, and we don't realize that next inspired step that you take can be that step that's going to lead you out to the miracles. So that's always the first thing that I have to let my clients know, is that we have to go inward. If challenges keep happening to you, sometimes there is a reason. What are you thinking about? You seem to be very positive on the outside, but maybe you're really not. Maybe that's your imposter syndrome, or that's what you want us to see, but maybe that's not who you really are. So let's dig into, what are you really feeling? Because as women, sometimes we feel like we have to be happy for everybody at every time. And we don't even know what we want after a while. For a long time, my name was Alika's mother. For a long time, my name was Christian's wife. No, my name is Tamika, but I didn't know that. The past 20 years, I've been either Christian's wife or, Tamika's mother. So sometimes we have to really take a deep breath. We have to pray. We have to take a step back, and we have to reignite our relationship with God. Because if your relationship with God is not strong, it's just going to be tough. I'm not saying that you're not going to get through it, but it's going to be tougher. You have to fortify that relationship. And in this day and age, people don't have that relationship. They pray when they want something. Don't be using God. I mean, why don't you pray and just say thank you, and pray in gratitude? Thank you, God. Every time I wake up in the morning, He woke you up. Thank you, God. Like, stop, praying when you need something. That's what I mean by a relationship with God all day, every day. I can tell Kim got a strong relationship with God. That's what you need to get you through, because life will happen. If life was always good, we wouldn't know it as being good. So the challenges are needed. And sometimes we have to go through the challenges. We have to sit in that mud. We have to lay in it. We have to choke in it in order for us to get to that miracle. But I promise, if you can get through it, the miracle is always so much brighter, and it's usually better than you've ever expected. But that's the first thing you have to do. You have to sit, be still. So
I love that. I love that. Check in with you, check in with yourself. And you just ended it on a good note. Be still, y'all. Be still. Stop being a busybody, okay? So listen, Miss Tamara. I hope I'm saying it. Is it Tamara? It's Tamara, right? Or is it Tamara?
It's Tamara.
Tamara. Listen,
Yeah.
I messed it all up. But I love it because it starts with a T-A-M, okay?
Okay.
Listen, so you are a woman that empowers busy moms to turn their clutter into clarity, right?
Right.
And as we're talking about these mudslides, it's a lot of women, it's a lot of busy moms that's feeling like they're on a constant mudslide right now, right? So how important is it to have a support system? How important is it to have a support system? And then the second part of that is, how do we find the right support system? Because we can connect ourselves with people who we think will help us and be there for us in our time of need when we're going through it. It may not be on a financial basis. It may just like, can I borrow your ear for a moment? Can I borrow your shoulder? And it's not there. So how important is it to have a support system? And then how do we find that support system as we need it?
It's very important to have a support system, but having, like you said, having the right support system is paramount, because everybody isn't in your circle to pray with and for you. PRAY. There's a lot of them that come because they see something in you that's not in themselves, and they come to pray on you. PREY. One thing that I did going through the multitude of mudslides that I've
experienced in my life is that I asked God to position me around women who love me, support me, keep it 100 with me, pray for me, pray with me, and gonna check me when I need to be checked. Because I know for myself, I can get in that position where I'm like, okay, Lord, I trust you. I believe in you. You know, although I'm going through this, I'm going back to what you brought me from. So I know what you can do. But then I also have that doubt, that fear. You need women in your life that can say, sis, stop. Remind yourself of 20 years ago when he saved you out of that domestic abuse marriage. Remember when he brought you from poverty. Remember when he brought you and got you that job. So we need to be positioned to receive those women.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we look at those who glitter, shine because they're a part of this organization or they're a part of this clique. My husband laughs at me because I tell him I'm not a cliquish type of church woman. My pastor laughs at me because he like, you that type of Christian that you just gonna say it. Yes, because we can't say we want good for our sister in Christ, but we don't hug her, we don't love her, we don't check her, we don't say, sis, let me pull you to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pray right here, right now. I'm not going to say, well, yeah, I'll pray for you. We're going to pray right now because you need it. So I had to get in that state of mind where I was willing to receive my circle. I had to be able to receive my tribe, my village, because I had trust issues, being hurt from, and I'm not going to say church hurt, from the people that went to the church.
Mm-hmm.
I had to differentiate that because then I was a new Christian and I said, okay, Lord, because I want to go to church and do something.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have to go back and ask for forgiveness. So I said, Lord, position me to recognize those things that are not of you. If my spirit ain't matching your spirit, then something wrong. And I'm going to, just nice and politely tell y'all, no, yeah, we good. But he started just revealing those women for me to reach out to. And the small circle, I can count on one hand, of women who I trust to pray for me, that I can call and say, here's what I'm going through. Because a lot of times we as women and Christian women, we don't want everybody to know our business.
Come on.
We don't want everybody to know our business. And one major mudslide for me, thinking about this, which allowed me to get in the position to ask Christ to send those types of women, because I'm a straight no chaser type of Christian. And I need that. I don't need someone to millie mouth me. But I remember coming out of my marriage, which he was going to school to be a minister, but it was abusive. And I was when I escaped, sitting back in my hometown in Michigan. And I kept thinking how I did a disservice to my daughters. I felt that I wasn't good enough to be their mother. So I said, okay, Lord, I'm sitting by the river. I can't swim a lick. I said, Lord, okay, maybe my parents should just raise them. I'm done. Now, nobody's sitting around me. Nobody's standing around me. And I was bold talking to God. I said, Jesus, if you are who you say you are, you got to prove yourself to me. Because right now, I feel like just jumping in there and being done.
Mm-hmm.
In seconds, I just felt the Holy Spirit say, wait on me. And I'm looking. In my head, I'm like, okay, am I losing it? I was like, Lord, what? Wait on me. I got in my car. I sat there, I cried, and I kept saying, Lord, what do you mean, wait on you? I heard, just go home, read your word. I went home, and my mother, I would always say, she's the closest thing to God I know. I've seen so many miracles in her life. And something you said, Kim, that my mother used to say that same thing. I went in the house, I went in the basement, because I came back from Florida, and I had nothing. So I was living in my parents' basement with my daughters. My mother just peeked down the steps, And she said, just pray, stay in your word. I'm looking at her like, I don't want to hear that right now. I need something else. That got me to that point of going to Bible studies, going to prayer meetings. I didn't feel my prayer was going no higher than the ceiling, but I went. I sat around women who I really didn't trust, but I stayed there. And in my head, I kept saying the same thing. Lord, send women who are for me. When God told me to write my book, my first book, I didn't want to do that. He said, it ain't for you. It's for the millions of other women who are going through domestic violence right now. I said, but that's my business. That's personal. I have to, you mean to tell me I got to put all this in a book for people to know what I went through, what I experienced? It took me to get let go from corporate America, to get that pink slip. And then he said, you got time on your hands. What you gonna do? I said, well, I guess I'm gonna write that book. In the midst of writing that book, I kept praying. Those 5 women, still to this day, I love, I appreciate them. One of them turned my book into a stage play. I didn't know it while she was getting her doctorate. So it was that village of people, but I had to wait. And in that waiting season, I kept reminding myself, I'm a visual person. So I kept thinking about Psalms 23. I felt in the valley by myself. That's how I was feeling. God had to remind me, I'm holding your hand. You feel alone. I ain't never left you. So you stepped away from me while you walking ahead of me thinking you know what you're doing. I was right there waiting on you. I had to really visualize myself grabbing his hand, crying out to God, and I found myself prostrate on my floor like, okay, Jesus, I surrender it. I surrender it. And I called my village because at first I didn't want to because I felt embarrassed. I felt weak.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reminded of something my dad would always tell us during our family Bible study was that at your weakest is when you're your strongest because you're pulling from Jesus's strength. And I said, okay, how could that be? Because I feel depleted. I felt like, okay, how can I encourage, empower, coach, talk to, mentor anybody when I'm feeling this way? Jesus said, oh, get up. Get up. I had to get to that position where I was like, okay, get up and do what? Get up. Because we as Black women sometimes we're trained and taught, you got to be strong. You cry it out, go in the bathroom, wash your face, and then you go out there. God was like, it's okay to be weak. Call your sister, call your village, and tell them what's going on and let them pray for you. I wasn't a laying of the hands on person because I'm like, okay, when something on you, you may put it on me. No, we're not going to do that. But I had to learn to release that and allow that village to come in, to do what God had purposed them to do for my life, in my life, on my life. And to this day, it has made me a stronger woman. It has made me and I have to pat myself, a more powerful Christian.
Right.
Because I can recognize and discern more who's operating in the spirit of Christ and who's operating in their own. And I will say this to anyone watching, for those women who are going through something and you feel lonely and alone, find your circle. Don't be fearful of reaching out to those women it's going in the vault. It ain't going nowhere with them. Don't be scared to share what you're going through because we all need each other.
Right.
This is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm going to tell you, so many of us, women, mothers, wives, we need that. Single women. I was single for years. I needed that. My mother, yes, loved her. She was there, but I needed a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that. As much as I wanted to fight it, God knew what I needed, but I had to wait on him. And in the midst of waiting, he was the man. I was like, okay, Lord, it's me and you. We got to have some conversations. And we had deep conversations. My mother would tell me, pull up a chair and act like he's sitting right there and talk to him.
Right.
And how we're talking now is how I talk to him to this day. Lord, okay, some things going on. He's like, call your tribe. After you come fad with me, you call them. And
Right.
now we meet every second Saturday. And I love it.
I love
absolutely
that.
love it. Yeah.
I love that, and I love the fact that you talk to him just like you hear, because he bruh for me, bruh, what's
Bruh,
going on?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, with that and being bold, I love that. Be bold in your ask. Be bold in your ask of God, and he gonna come through. He will do exactly what you ask him to do. You just got to be ready and prepared for what he gives to you. Okay. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Tamara.
Thank
Hold on.
you.
Tamara, thank you. So, LaJune, have you ever experienced a moment where it seemed as if it was just a mudslide, but it was actually a setup to be one of the biggest blessings that you've ever received? Because a lot of times when we're on these mudslides, we're just like, okay, I don't see nothing happening after this. But really and truly, after going through it, I think it was Kim who said, she went with the current. However, after going through it, you saw that it was actually a blessing in disguise.
I can definitely say yes. I can say my 2023. Um, I would say it was a mudslide, a tornado, a hurricane, a tsunami, and everything in between. And it was all to set me up to this year, for greater and for better. And, it teaches you that it's kind of like, I'm sure people have seen the meme where Jesus goes to the little girl and tries to take her little small teddy bear, and he has this huge teddy bear behind him. And the little girl is like, no, I love it. And it's kind of like, you know what? If you want greater and better, you have to let go of your comfort, because comfort and where you are is not going to move you forward. You have to let go and trust God in the path that you're going in. Having a great support system along the way is definitely important, and I definitely appreciate my support system of being there during everything that I experienced. So having that is number one and essential, because you sitting there with your own thoughts will drive you crazy, and the devil preys on the weak and will have you thinking so many things and have you in a negative space where you're suicidal, you want to hurt people and things like that. So, talking to people, having a therapist, I definitely appreciate God bringing my therapist in my life, um, to talk to and on speed dial for other sessions during the week. That is essential. And I'm so happy to see so many Black people now getting therapists, because before, especially being from the South, that's not something we do. It's like, oh, you pray about it, you go to Jesus. No, Jesus put man on earth to help you and coaches on earth to help you when you can't help yourself, and get you out of that mindset. So I would say, definitely, we all go through something, and we go through it to be a testimony to help other people who are in those situations become a better and best version of themselves, because we're all worth it. And sometimes we feel so guilty and we blame ourselves that we don't see our own worth, but we have to start seeing our worth. We have to start seeing that we are worthy, we deserve so much, and we are meant for greatness. God didn't put us on this earth just to be borrowers. He put us on this earth to be lenders, to lend not just money, but to lend time, to lend love, to lend kindness. That's what we're here for. We're here to be the head, not the tail. So be a leader. Don't be hiding behind people, being scared. Stand up, use your voice. And I think those things are so essential. And any mudslide that you go through, or any tremendous situation you go through in life.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Now, what I want to do is I want to go to all of you and ask this question because, again, going through things is one thing, but learning the lesson so that you don't repeat those same situations is another. So, real quickly, can each of you, starting with Kim, can each of you share a lesson that you learned from any of the mudslides that you've had to, that you've been faced with in life? A lesson learned.
Yes. I've learned that there's absolutely nothing that I've been through in my life that God did not use to elevate me. And once I've learned, I had to learn how to let that it go. And that'll be a book coming out soon. Let that it go. Whatever the it is in your life, your it can be your mentality. It can be a hurt that you felt someone did to you. Whatever your it is, let that it go. And God is not going to do anything for you, to you. It's going to happen for you. And once I got that into my mindset, I can face whatever it is I need to face, knowing that God is still God in that situation.
Come on. I love it.
The two things that I learned that I still utilize to this day, one is the power of forgiveness. When you don't forgive, you're just stuck. And I was stuck for a long time because I didn't forgive. I blamed God for taking my parents. I had to forgive God. I blamed my parents for dying. Had to forgive them. Had to forgive the things that I did to people out of anger, frustration, negativity. So the power of forgiveness is really what helped me just be more of me. And the second thing that I learned was that God created powerful beings. Like, I'm a powerful being. He made me in his image. And for me, growing up when, you have little self-esteem issues, that was big for me because it was me knowing that, okay, I'm a child of God. I can do anything. That means I can get out of this. And I got all the tools that I need, even if one of those tools, like LaJune said, is go see my therapist. But I got all the tools that I need to make whatever situation better, to make me better, so that I can show up in the world as my authentic self. Because once I start showing up as my authentic self, that's up to you to either like me or not. I don't care either way, because I'm always going to be me. I'm going to love you. If you don't like me, I'm still going to love you because that's me. Right. But those were my lessons from my mudslides.
I love that. I almost had a song pop up in my head that is not appropriate right now. Okay, come on, Miss Tamara, come on.
Oh my goodness. Two things that I learned. I have to first preface this by saying I'm the youngest of 7 kids.
Oh wow.
And I never got a spanking. Never got a spanking. They would call me spoiled, but I was watchful. I paid attention. I learned what not to do. So what Coach Tamica said, I learned forgiveness because I had to be watchful. I had to learn how I can forgive. I won't forget, but I don't have to wear what I've gone through. Mm-hmm. I can now navigate those mudslides and remind myself of, okay, I'm not forgiving them for them. I'm forgiving them for me.
Right.
Because if I don't forgive them, it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt them because they're going to move on to the next victim.
Come on.
Second thing that I learned was to have faith. And I know, so many people say that, but our faith can waver depending on things that we go through. And when you've gone through a lot, your faith can feel like it's no longer there. And that's where I was for a long time. But I had to realize that God gives us that small portion of faith. It's up to us to use it. And my mother reminded me, even on her deathbed, she gave me a bag of mustard seeds. I keep them everywhere I go, in my purse, in my Bible, in my journal, to remind me that small seed grows a 30-foot tall tree. And that's all God wanted me to have. I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to be watchful. I'm going to be thankful, even in the midst of what I'm going through, because whatever it is that you're preparing me for, I'm waiting in expectation, and I'm going to be joyful while I'm waiting. So those are some lessons that I had to learn for me and this bold personality of mine.
I love that. LaJune?
Definitely had to learn patience and stillness on top of trusting God, because I was so used to doing everything myself and taking care of everything myself, where it was, I had no issues with getting a job before. I could apply for a job and immediately got it. Um, but I was never still and I was never patient. And that was one thing God was teaching me last year, was stillness and patience and trust. And I was able to let go and trust God in the process of everything that He has provided for me now, where I can say, you know what, as someone said earlier on the panel, of just saying thank you, thank you, God. It doesn't have to be so many words. Thank you. And acknowledging what He's doing in your life. If you can't find the words, just acknowledging, saying, you know what, I appreciate you not giving up on me at times where I wanted to give up on myself. So, just being patient, and patient was hard because patient wasn't my friend. So I'm learning to be friends with patient and trusting God in this process. And He has definitely shown me that, greatness is here and greater is on the way.
I love that. I love that. Miss Tamara, you spoke on having faith the size of a mustard seed, and that's like, I live by that Matthew 17:20. Okay. That's life for me. Having faith the size of a mustard seed, anything is possible. And LaJune, being still and having patience. Patience is everything. That's something that I learned a long time ago that set me up for being okay today, because I really was a person of not high patience at all, especially for grown folk. Okay. I didn't have patience for the grown folk because they lie a lot. Okay. I'm just gonna put it out there. So I learned how to have patience, which set me up to not be bothered by the grown folks and the stuff that they do. So absolutely, patience and being still are definitely some great lessons to learn. Thank you all for sharing. I appreciate each of you for sharing. Now, before we wrap this section up, please share with us, how can the audience and the viewers find you, connect with you, stay connected with you, learn some more from you. Okay, they're gonna see y'all back here with Energize again. Just know that. However, how can they find you for now? We'll start with you, Ms. Kim.
I am on all social media platforms at Just Kim Stringer. Put the just in front of my name right there, and that's the way you'll find me. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Telegram, everywhere at Just Kim Stringer. You can always also go to my website, www.justkimstringer.com. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, Coach Tamica.
You can find me at CoachTamica.com, and on Instagram, Coach Tamica Lloyd, Facebook, Coach Tamica Lloyd. But if you want to reach me, It's best for my website because I'm being still and staying off of social media.
Okay, I love it. I love the social media detox. Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right, Miss Tamara Gooch.
Yes, yes. You can reach me at Tamara C. Gooch, coaching and consulting.
All that, huh?
Yep.
All that.
Or just at
Now you see
Tamara
me
C.
over here. All this typing. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. That's Tamara C. Gooch, coaching and consulting. That's where you are.
Yeah.
Is that across all social platforms?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. And Miss LaJune.
You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok, LaJune Singleton, Instagram, I am LaJune, and my website is LaJuneSingleton.com.
Yep. Got you. Got you. It's coming up in a few seconds. Boom. Right there. Okay. Listen, fingers can be typing. So listen, please, you all go and connect with LaJune. I am LaJune Singleton across the platforms or LaJuneSingleton.com. We got Just Kim Stringer across all socials. We have at Coach Tamica Lloyd, and find her better at CoachTamica.com. Okay. And then we have Miss Tamara C. Gooch, coaching and consulting. That's where you can find her. So listen, thank you all. I appreciate each of you for being here. I appreciate each of you for sharing, being transparent in your journey. Because again, when we are transparent with what we've gone through, it's going to help somebody else. It's going to help the next lady who's going through it right now and didn't know she needed to hear a word from you. So again, I appreciate each of you. Be on the lookout for me because I will be contacting you again soon. But thank you, and thank you. Please, you all connect with all the ladies, have conversations, connect, learn more, and let's do this thing because it's all about connection. Everything is about connection, but being connected to the right people. And these are the right people, okay? The right people. All right, you all have a great evening. I appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So listen. Tonight has been wonderful. Tonight has been wonderful, but we're not done. We are not done. We are not done. We have now coming up, we have an amazing workshop with Dr. Stefany Jones. I was about to go to Stephanie J. Jones, but it's Dr. Stefany Jones. She is doing a workshop on the strength of a purpose pivot. The strength of a purpose pivot. Dr. Stefany, are you ready? I don't know if she can see me or hear me. I don't want to bring her on. I'll wait until she come on the camera, and then I'll bring her on. Let me make sure I didn't get a message from her. Nope. All right. So, Dr. Stefany, when I see you on camera, I'll bring you up to get started with your amazing workshop because I can't wait to hear about the strength of a purpose pivot, how to curate a life by design and dreams by measure. Listen, tonight has been absolutely amazing. If you're just tuning in, I'm Tameka Chapman, the host of energizeHER, a leadership summit. This is the Energizer Leadership Summit for 2024. I have some amazing ladies and some of my favorite gents who've joined in to have a conversation on what it means to embrace life, embrace all of the challenges, and how do we overcome some things? How do we move forward? How do we keep moving forward? But also, how do we keep ourselves energized while we are doing that? And I just appreciate every last lady who has joined us. I appreciate every gent who has joined us. What we had earlier today was Veronica Burnett, who spoke to us about stop hiding, y'all. Stop hiding. Stop hiding. There's no use in us in continuing to hide. And, she shared her journey of hiding behind somebody else's gift, doing everything to build them up and still not moving forward with what she knew that she was supposed to be doing. But then she talked to us about finding her way into no longer seeking validation, no longer seeking permission, no longer seeking approval from other outside people to do exactly what it is that she was meant to do. So I appreciate Veronica for sharing that. And you just tuned in, you were tuning in to the panel for tonight that was all about mudslides and miracles. Overcoming life challenges and obstacles, that obstacle course that we call life. All right. So this has been an amazing night. I'm still waiting on Dr. Stefany. I'm gonna put her up on the stage just in case she's not ready yet. Well, I'm going to talk to y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all a little bit more until either her situation is fixed or we have Miss Sanita Mitchell who will be joining us and talking about grief in the workplace. Listen, this summit has been, it was created, I should say, to really tap into the woman on a whole scale, not just one area of life, but in every facet of life that it deals, that we have to deal with. You know, as women, we have a lot of roles. We take on a lot of things. We take on roles that nobody asks us to take on, right? Because that's just what we do. We take on things and we do it so wonderfully. But at the same time, we are sacrificing something to do all of those things. When we're not taking care of ourselves, whether it's our mental wellness, whether it's our physical, whether it is a relationship, regardless of what it is, we take on everything. We take on everything and we do it with a smile. But that smile is costing. So the question that I'm asking and that I continue to ask is, what is the cost of your smile? What is the cost of your smile? Have you truly thought about the cost that it takes you to smile? Have you thought about all of the things that you're doing on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and throughout the year that's taken away time from you actually feeding you? If you weren't here at the beginning, I gave a message on feeding you first. You know, so you have to think about the areas of your life that need to be fed and how can you feed them properly, feed them fully, so that way when you do begin to show up in all of these other roles, you're okay. You can smile and your smile won't cost you as much, right? Let's see here. If you have any comments, as a matter of fact, not even comments, I want to know from wherever point you joined in, what has been your biggest takeaway so far? Can you put that in the chat here? I would definitely. I'm gonna start throwing them up on the screen here. All right. Listen, this is interactive. I want to see your comments. I want to see what it is that you have to say. Can you please just share what has been your biggest takeaway so far, whatever that is, from whatever point you join. Let's take that. Let's see what you have to say there. So let's see here. Oh, Mr. Dame commented earlier on, thank you for the excellent panel. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Dame. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Awesome. Ladies, this was energizing. Absolutely. That's the aim, is to energize. This was wonderful. Thank you so much. This is all about the panel. This is all about the panel. And, you know, Veronica says, yes, we take on so much. We absolutely do. We take on a lot. And we continue to take it on. We continue to take it on. And, you know, one of the things about that, we take it on and we do it. And then we feel like we got the right to complain when nobody's helping us do it. Okay. Nobody's helping to lift the load that we willingly took on. So we have to be aware. And as Dr. Choi talked to us last night, we have to be intentional about those things that we are saying yes to. We have to be intentional about the things that we are doing and the things that we're not doing. All right. So Gerard says, how many women have participated this week and what professions were represented? Listen, I'm gonna have to get the data on that and get back to you on that, because we've had a plethora of women come through on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and tonight. Oh my gosh, probably I think we've had about maybe 20 women so far. Maybe 20 women. Maybe 20 women so far have come through. Their professions are all over the board. But I will have that information and I'll share it with you outside of here. All right, let's see. All right. All right. So your takeaway is a reminder of the great sacrifices that women make daily. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Mr. Dane, our women are truly amazing. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Nuggets drop for both women and men. Absolutely. Yes. All right, Veronica. Or when we don't get acknowledged for taking it on. Exactly. We trying to figure out, so who gonna help me lift this load? So I know y'all see me, right? Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Y'all just gonna not do anything that you know you can do. You can't help me. You know, we don't really have that right because we took that on. We took it on. And I think it's because that's just in us. and I've heard the thing of, women are nurturers, but not all women, not all women, but there's a good many of us who are nurturers, and we are willing to put ourselves in a position to take on things, that we really should not be taking on because it's taken away from another area of our lives, right? Our happiness, yes, 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 our happiness is most important. Absolutely, Veronica. Yes, it's been at least 20, but it's probably more if I go back and I count all the days. It's been a lot. Okay. It has been a lot, but when I tell you that I'm so thankful for all of the yeses that I've gotten to be a part of the Energizer Leadership Summit. Everybody said yes. There was not a hesitation. There wasn't you will let me think about it and get back to you. Absolutely not. And every day has been jam-packed with amazing presentations. It's been jam-packed with amazing women, phenomenal women who are showing up and helping us as the audience learn different ways of managing our emotions, managing our lives, managing our relationships, managing different parts of our lives. That's going to help us be better. That's going to help us energize our lives to the next level. All right. And we have Ivy here. When our blessings turn into burdens, that's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happened. And a quick thing about that, years ago, oh my gosh, probably a good maybe 6 years ago, I was doing everything. I was doing everything and some, everything and some. And it was all because I could. Okay. That's nothing. It's not going to take me any time to get that done. It's like, oh, that's easy. I can do that. But I had to learn this. Just because I can do it does not mean that I should do it. And so I had to learn along the way to stop saying yes to everything and everybody, because all of those things, and at one point I was working with a lot of people, but it was taking so much time away from the 9 to 5 that I had. It was taken away from, well, it wasn't taken away from that because I was still showing up to the 9 to 5 and staying there for 12, 13, 14, 15 hours. But it was taking time away from the family time that I should have been putting that time into my husband and my children, but I was giving it away to help others become, the thing that they wanted to be. Let's see here. Gerard says, we often hear that Black people don't support each other. This summit proved that is a lie. Who you telling? Who you telling? Absolutely. And that's the way it should be. We should show up. We should support. Support can cost absolutely nothing. I can, off the top of my head, a number of ways that you can support someone else for $0. You're on social media. You're not paying a dime to be on social media. Share the post, like the post, comment on the post, tell somebody about an event happening. It costs you nothing. When we begin to show up and support each other, it makes it so much greater. It makes everything so much greater. It makes you feel it can make you feel good that you're actually, sharing something with someone that can help them. But it costs absolutely $0 to tell somebody about what someone is doing. And I can say I went for years and years and years and years and years, not charging anyone a dime for anything. And I was doing it because I felt that's what we needed. I did, oh my gosh, in 2019, I launched a magazine called Woman on the Verge. Okay. And one of the goals with that magazine was to show that Black women can work together without drama. And you know what happened? I had about, I think it was 20 women who signed up to be article writers for that magazine for different areas, different content that they would be bringing. And I was just like, wow. And so it showed that women can work together. They can definitely work together. But thank you for sharing that, because this summit proved it, y'all. This summit proved it. I'm just going to hit on the last couple of comments here because Dr. Stefany is in the house. All right, so they must be connected to the wrong. Absolutely, because they definitely not connected to me. Okay. All right, learn the power of NO. It's a sentence. You don't even have to have an exclamation point at the end. You can just improperly write the sentence NO, and whoever read it can take it for what it is. All right. And the last one here, keep up the great work. Oh, thank you, Mr. Dane. Keep up the great work, Tamica. Your work is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Mr. Dane. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So listen, without further ado. Oh, hold on. I know she did not just leave over here again. I think we are having. Okay, she's coming back in. She's coming back in. All right, Dr. Stefany. Where? Let me see where she is. All right, there she is. Here we go. Here we go. We're in here. We are in here. Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you for being here. I'm introducing Dr. Stefany, who is giving us a presentation on the power. Hold on. Let me make sure I say this right because I know I just messed it up. Okay, the strength of a purpose pivot, how to curate a life by design and dreams by measure.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, here we go.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for my workshop. And it's about the strength of a power pivot, okay? And how to have a life by design and dreams by measure. And the one thing I want to say first, I want to commend everyone for joining this initiative and stepping up to the plate to be energized and inspired and empowered. And truly, it is our community of women encouraging one another that gives us the trajectory and the fuel and the strength we need to know that we can do anything that we put our minds to. And sometimes we need that reminder. And in order to really have the strength to do a power-packed pivot that is based on a purpose-driven life, you have to, one, give yourself permission. And people say, okay, what do you mean by permission? The first thing is permission to dream and permission to dream big. I think as women, we are so accustomed to putting ourselves last, to nurturing, to feeding, and to providing for everyone else in our ecosystem that we tend to forget about ourselves. And if we don't forget about ourselves, we don't give ourselves permission to actually be. And when I say be, I mean be encouraged, be inspired, to be dreamers, because we're so busy handling business and we're so busy taking care of things and people. And as a result, I believe that we miss understanding that everything God has given us in this lifetime is for this lifetime. You know, it's not to be aspired to achieve later on in life or even after death, but actually to be lived here on earth while we are here. So how do we integrate our purpose and what God has given us by design? And how do we integrate that into our dreams of measure and dreaming big and having a thirst and a desire to be, do, and have? How do we integrate that into our lifestyles, our career choices, our relationship choices, or even just our life choices? And what does that look like? And if the life we have and the life we're living and the things we are penning our paper to or giving our time to and our energies to is not really conducive to the dream or the vision that we've had for ourselves in our lives, how do we make that about face? And how do we change our positioning so that we are on the path and on the journey to taking steps towards having that purpose as a part of everything we put our hands to? So I just want to teach you a couple of elements and exercises and tasks that you can do in the comfort of your home and in a relaxed space, of course, because truly our souls speak better during quiet, peaceful, aligning times. It's impossible to really understand where we are supposed to be when there's a whole lot of noise going on, when there's a whole lot of external variables, drama, if you will, or even the monkey thoughts in our heads, in our minds, our worries, our stress. If all of those frequencies are integrated into what we're doing, then we can't truly hear our soul speak. So the first thing you want to do is always take the time to carve out time just for yourself. Now, if you are a night owl, then make it the last 15 minutes before you shut down. If you are an early bird, maybe the first 15 minutes. And you really don't need more than 15 minutes to connect. And in that 15-minute space, the most important thing to do is to, number one, breathe, okay? Because the breath of life is about connecting you with the depth of life. And that can only be done when you're centered. So breathing is first. The second thing is connecting mind, body, and soul. And how do you do that? That is just being intentional about your thought and what you want to achieve or the task you want to accomplish for the moment. As women, we are doing a million things at once. So we have a million things on our minds at one time, and we're multitaskers. This exercise actually forces you to shut it down and to get quiet and get still. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, be still and know that I am God. So when you are still, you can know, connect, and align with God. And that is how you hear your soul and your spirit speak. And it is through the breath of life. So you have your deep breaths, and then you connect your mind with your body and your spirit. And by connecting your mind with your body, it means that your posture is conducive to breathing in good air, and that you're sitting in an erect position. If it's in a chair, if it's on the floor, if it's at a table, no matter where it is, if you sit up, then you're actually allowing the blood to flow throughout your body, and then connecting your spirit. So then what you want to do is identify one thing, one task, one goal, one objective, whether it's for the day, for the moment, for the month, for a lifetime, whatever it is, one thing you want to focus on during those 15 minutes. And you want to think about that one thing. And in thinking about that one thing that you want to accomplish, that one goal, you want to see when you have an assessment if it is in alignment with your purpose. A lot of people say to me, Dr. Stefany, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't have any gifts. Oh, that is a lie. Everyone is born with gifts and everyone has a purpose. It's just a matter of tapping into them. And people don't realize that most of the time, your gift is absolutely what you have not gone to school to learn, and is nothing that man has ever given to you. It is something that you have been born with, that comes naturally, that you've developed on your own, either through a love or a passion, or that you just tapped into and you don't know how you got there. That is what a gift is, and everyone has access to it. The next thing you want to do is identify your purpose. Most of the time as women, we don't understand, because we're so skilled and because we are so astute at multitasking, we believe everything is our purpose, right? We believe everything is what we're here to do because we do everything so well. We're just so talented that way. But that is not what purpose is. That is your skill set. That is what you're good at doing. But really living for purpose means that your soul is satisfied with really all about what is giving you the drive and the determination to just keep on going, keep on doing. Okay, there we go. And don't chase the money, chase the dream. And the reason for all of those sayings and colloquialisms is so that you are living out your purpose and you're not looking or considering the thirst or the need at the time, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, whether it's social, no matter what it is. Okay, so that's the first thing. Taking out a quiet time in the morning or the night, centering your thoughts, taking deep breaths to center with your body, and then using only one item, one thing on your mind to focus on. The second thing you want to do is look at and do an assessment of where you are in your career, in your educational pursuits, in your relationship pursuits, and you need to make a list. Everything starts with a list. The Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. And if you take that list of where you are now and what you're doing, and then you make another column of what it is you desire, what it is you dream, what it is you hope for. And then what you have to do is draw angles and see what is comparable to what you desire. So if the left side of your list, meaning the life you have and what you've chosen and what you've decided to do, your career, your job, your family dynamic, your relationship dynamic, if you're single, if you're not single, if the items on the left are not drawing to the items on the right, then there's a disconnect. And that disconnect means that you may need to look at doing a pivot. And a pivot meaning that you start mirroring a life by design. And a life by design means you're completely intentional about what you want your life to look like. You are completely intentional about what you want to be doing with your time, with your life, with your efforts, with your energy. Who are your people? Who are your community? Who are you trying to help? Who are you trying to influence? And until you can draw those comparisons from the left to the right, then you will not be living up to your, I would say, your dream life, right? So it's dreams by measure, right? So how do you measure your dreams and the efficacy of what your dreams are? People say, oh, I dream of if I hit the lottery, I can do this, that. People actually believe that if they have money, all of their problems will go away and everything will be solved. I'm going to tell you that who you are with money is who you are without it. What you have in your life without money is what you're going to have with it, only exacerbated. So if you're unhappy and you're unfulfilled without money, money is not going to bring that to you. A house doesn't make a home, you make a home, okay? So what you want to do is always consider your soul and always consider your spirit and always consider what you feel nurtures and gives you everything you need to go on and move on. And don't live by status quo. And that is how you can connect what a purpose-driven life looks like, even in the midst of career pursuits, family pursuits, and other pursuits. So I just want to also emphasize before I go, because I know I only had 20 minutes, the one thing I want to share and really emphasize, especially again, as busy women in this day and age, and this technology and the dynamics of all that we're doing, you must know that you are called to purpose, okay? And do not confuse your striving for excellence and being excellent in situations with that being your destiny. You get to write it, you get to rewrite it, you get to redo it, you get to restructure it, you get to re-engineer it, and it all starts with the decision to pivot and do so. It is always within your control. It is always at your beck and call, because whatsoever you speak, that is what it shall be. And whatever you send out, don't forget that it is all about what you design and the measure of the dreams that you are able to dream that defines your purpose integrated with your life choices. I think that was my 20 minutes. I can't hear you, Tamika.
Listen, again, I get so excited to get back on here talking that I forget to take myself off of mute. So listen, I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for sharing on the strength of a purpose pivot, being
Yes.
intentional with the things that you are doing. I love that intention piece. Last night we also talked about intention. I had an intentional coach last night, and it was all about be intentional about the things that you are doing, about the things that you're saying, how you are acting, how you respond, how you react, right?
Yes.
Because whatever you seek, that it shall be. That is what it shall be. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Dr. Stefany, how can the audience find you, connect with you, learn more with you and from you? Because listen, I didn't even give y'all the proper introduction to Dr. Stefany. But she's a lot, okay?
Yeah.
She's a lot. She's amazing. She's phenomenal. She is phenomenal. She's amazing, and she's great at what she does. So how can the viewing audience find you and connect with you?
Sure, sure. Okay, so as you know, I am the CEO of Hustle Mama Magazine. So if you connect with me on Facebook, you can either connect with me through the magazine page on Facebook, Hustle Mama Magazine, or you can come into our Facebook group, which is the Hustle Mama Tribe, because I am all things Hustle Mama. So they can connect with me on Facebook through the Hustle Mama Tribe or Hustle Mama Magazine, and Dr. Stefany with the Fany.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm going to put it here on the screen so they'll be able to see it here. So
Yes.
at Hustle Mama Magazine or the Facebook group, the Hustle Mama Tribe. Listen,
Yes.
won't regret it. I promise you that you won't regret it. And the Facebook group, is it a free group, Dr.
For sure. It's a free group. We teach everything. We have 4 pillars we concentrate on, which is heal your heart to your gifts and your goals, hack your life and your business, harness your power, and build your digital empire. So we basically take women from heart healing and connecting with their gifts, right? That whole life by design and dreams by measure, and using the fast track and the power of God inside of them to build all of the wealth empires that the Bible promises us.
Again, y'all won't be disappointed, okay? So please connect with Dr. Stefany Jones. Dr. Stefany, I appreciate you being here. I absolutely
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So thank you. You have a great evening.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to speaking to you soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye. Awesome. Listen, I hope you all are paying attention to these ladies. Yes, we are running a little bit behind time, probably a lot of it, but it's okay. It's okay. I pray that it's okay with each of you. The next lady that I'm bringing up, she don't need an introduction, but I'm going to introduce her anyway. Okay. Hold on. I don't even know if I don't even have a formal introduction for her, but let me just tell you, I am bringing her up. She's actually Sanita Mitchell. She's going to be talking to us about grief in the workplace. How many times have you shown up to work? I'll rephrase it. How many times have you been in a situation where you are experienced or you have experienced a loss, but you still went to work and not having dealt with that, right? You haven't dealt with it. You don't know how to deal with it. You don't know what the first step is in dealing with it, right? I'm waving my hand, and if I could see all of y'all that are tuned in, some of you are probably raising your hand too, right? Well, tonight, Sanita is going to be speaking to us. She's a keynote speaker, a global keynote speaker, okay? And the CEO of Joy Break Forth. Am I right? The CEO of Joy Break Forth. Listen, Joy. Yes. Mm-hmm. So listen, I'm bringing Sanita Mitchell to the stage to give us a presentation on grief in the workplace. Listen, Sanita, you know me, right?
Great. Yes. Okay.
So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And if you don't mind, please give us a formal introduction for you, because I know I just messed all it up.
It's okay. And please pardon my moving boxes because we are packing. And anyway, so I'm Sanita Mitchell, and I am the CEO of Joy Break Forth, where we are about transforming the lives of people who have gone through different situations. I love helping people who have been through grief situations, as well as people who are embarking upon marriage. So I love all things marriage. And so, I just love being there to help people as they prepare to be married and as they are on this journey of marriage. And so my assignment tonight is to talk to you. Sorry, of course, out of all this time, the helicopter. But anyway, my job here tonight is to talk to you about grief in the workplace. All right, so I'm a numbers person. I like numbers. I was doing some research and I realized and I learned that it costs workplace corporations about $225.8 billion when they don't help their employees deal with their grief. I'm going to let y'all sit with that. That's worldwide. $225.8 billion companies lose with their employees. And then for the US, that number is $75 billion. We're talking about billions. We're talking about billions of dollars of people who go to work because they are costing their companies, and not even talking about you as a business owner, right? How much is that costing you when you don't get the support you need for your grief experiences? And so I'm going to go into what that looks like. But first, I'm always about what is grief, because sometimes we don't even know what grief is. We just think it's always about the loss of a person. But grief is normal, right? Normal and natural reaction to change or the loss of any kind. And what I forgot to mention was I am in school. I am a graduate student at Marymount University, where I'm going to school for licensed clinical mental health with the side of pastoral care, because I believe that the spirit, our spirit is also connected when we go through loss experiences, right? And so when we talk about grief, we're talking about the response in change, the end of, or something that's been familiar to us. We grieve. And then it can comprise of a lot of things, right? People can grieve graduations. It's May, right? We're talking about mental health. May is Mental Health Month. And so, you know, there's graduations, and I know those graduates are happy. Woo, woo, woo. I'm excited that I've graduated, but yet reality is going to set in place with them for some of those who don't know what they're going to do next, their friends. You know, we're talking about work. So people who are graduated, my husband just graduated with his Master's of Divinity. You know, even adults, we can grieve graduating, right? Like it's finished. Perpetual learners, the birth, moving. When we're talking about the workplace, you know, we get excited about that promotion until we step into a new arena and we're not familiar with the people. They don't do things quite the way we used to do it at the old agency. And so people come with a level of grief. And then, of course, you know, the loss of a loved one, right? And so I have experience with that. And so when I open up, because I'm going to keep with my time, because I know she said 15 minutes. So when I lost my daughter, Anaya, in 2010, the part that I hated almost, I mean, it's no comparison to losing my daughter, but the one part I dreaded was when I had to return to work. I didn't know how people were going to respond to me. When I left work, I was pregnant. When I left work, people were excited about me, you know, expanding my family. People were excited about wanting to meet my baby girl. And then I had to go back to work without this baby, not her being in my home, but that she had passed away. That was a tremendous blow. For me, it was a tremendous blow, but it was also a tremendous blow for, guess what? My coworkers. My coworkers didn't know what to do. Okay, now I'm going to pause for the cause, because I want to make sure that we all understand that when people show back up, when you go back to work, yes, you know, we know that there are some stages to grief, and, you know, it was really about the death process of what somebody does what they deal with when they are facing death. But we have, you know, mixed it in with grief, and we have those feelings of denial. So when you go back to work, you may be facing some denial on some things, right? And when you go back to work, you might be angry. Right? You angry at God, you angry at whatever choices that was made, you're angry about the situation that you were facing. You're bargaining, right? You may be bargaining, like, if I did this, then this would have happened. If I didn't, if I took this job, because I don't want it to just circle around the loss of a person. But when I should have took that job, but I didn't take this one. It was more money over here. I thought the money was good over there, but it was actually a better job experience or work experience for me. So I should have went over there, right? Depression, right? And so we use that word a lot too. Everybody's depressed, right? And so depression, we are down on ourselves when we return back from grieving. And then that whole acceptance, it takes a while, right? So those are the stages of grief. I don't want to spend a lot of time there, but I do want to talk about, let you know that it's okay, right? So when you go back to the workplace, or when you decide after a loss to go back to your business, it's okay to not be okay. All right. It is okay. So my point number 2 is, well, tell me what to do. Okay. I heard Tamika earlier talking about there's a song by Ty Trippett that says, he says, tell me what can I do? Right. And so I want to tell you some things that you can do when you're grieving at work or in your workplace. So the first thing we want to do is change our expectations, right? We left work before life happened, and we were a certain place in our mind, right? Well, when you go back after grief, you're not going to be able to just jump back in to what you were doing before. Your mindset may not be there. So it's okay to sit down with your supervisor. It's okay to sit down with your leadership team. It's okay to sit down with your accountability partner. If you're a workplace, if you are a business owner, it's okay to talk to your clients and say, hey, I know I used to work from, my hours used to be from 9 to 5, but now my hours for a little while need to be from 9 to 12. It's okay to manage those expectations, right? It's okay to change the expectations of what people want from you, right? And so it's okay to change that. Number 2, you want to provide the type of you want to provide clarity on the type of support that you need. Because guess what? People are mind readers. They don't know what you need. And so if you don't tell them what you need, they don't have an idea, right? So they need to know, are you in position for them to help you? Like, how can they help you? You know, it's always that phone call. What can I do for you? And that person is like, I don't know. But sometimes people need a little bit of direction to say, okay, I love for you to be talking about my mom. What does that look like, right? Provide clarity on how they can support you and what do you need from them, right? I always say, find a work bestie, somebody who you can really be you with, so that they can help you identify some of those needs and help you. Point 3, honesty is key, right? Let's talk about the key, right? Don't lie. Right, I'm okay. I'm doing all right. It's life. It's okay. No, honesty is key. If you need help, you need to say it, because the only way you're going to make it is if you're being honest, right? Be honest where you are. Not too long ago, I went to work right before Mother's Day. My mother passed away in November of 2019. Well, Mother's Day for me is very tough. And so when I went to work, I walked past my supervisor and I just was I need a hug. Right. I'm a school teacher right now. For the last 3 years, I've been in school. And when I walked by her, I could have lied and said, oh, I'm great. All is well. I'm walking on water. I'm not human. I don't have no feelings. This Mother's Day is just another day. But instead, what I turned around and told her was, I need a hug. And guess what she did? She hugged me. And she was relatable to me in that moment. It wasn't no long, drawn out conversation. It was just a hug for 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I heard someone say it can change your whole demeanor. But why? Because I was honest. Number 4, I should say. Self-care is important. Now, I'm going to lump a whole lot into self-care. Self-care is getting a therapist. We heard that tonight. Doing something for you, right? Self-care is sitting down in what I call silence for a moment on your good days, when you're in a good place, and you come up with your grief plan, your working plan. Like, these are the times when the holidays are coming, and these are things where you're going to capture how do I handle the holidays? How do I manage the music that I may hear, the smells that I may smell, the food that I may see? that is all part of the self-care. We call those things like triggers. So write those things down. And that's why you have to have a work bestie, because the work bestie is going to help you manage that self-care environment, even when you're at work. Yes, we talking about getting your hair done and getting your nails done. All of those things are great things, but it can be temporary, right? So we want to have self-care is important. Whatever you have to do, whether it's music, whether it is, putting things around you. I heard someone earlier say they keep Bible scriptures around you. Guess what? All of that is self-care. All of that is something that you can capture. Having the phone number of, maybe it's not a work best friend, maybe it's your spouse, and you got a code, right? And so what I tell people is get a code with your work bestie or your bestie, right? And there's a code word that you can say without you having to go into anything. But when you say that code word, they know instantly, which is point number 5, it's my exit strategy. Because these are the words that your bestie is going to say, okay, I thought I was okay with it going into this the potluck, but I realized at the potluck they got sweet potato pie, and my mom made sweet potato pie. And now I can't go in here because I'm about to have a total meltdown because somebody has made something that made me remember my mom. So I need code word bat wing. And when my bestie at work hear me say bat wing, she gonna go, oh, Sanita, I remember that I needed to take you over here so that I need to go take you over here for a moment and remember I wanted to talk to you about something, and they whisk you away. And guess what? The other coworkers have no idea. They really think that your work bestie just wanted to take you out to talk about something for work, when really it was your exit strategy. Now, the exit strategy can work for work and it can work for your private life. And then the last thing I heard someone today talk about, forgiveness. Forgiving yourself is a big part of your grieving process, right? It's a big part of forgiving yourself for what happened, forgiving yourself of what you thought you didn't do, that you should have done, that something that you said that you shouldn't have said, so forgiving yourself first. Then you got to forgive the people at work, because I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes people say stuff that they think they're being helpful, but they are actually hurting you. So sometimes you got to forgive them. You're going to have to forgive them for not responding in the way that you thought that they were going to respond in the workplace. So I heard again earlier, forgiveness is key. And that is the 6th part, is forgiving people, forgiving yourself, forgiving others for not showing up in the way you thought they were going to show up. Because sometimes you may return to work and they don't say anything. And sometimes they don't say anything, not because they didn't care, but because they think that, hey, it's one of those myths. Right? I just want them to get back to what it is. And if I say something, there may be a trigger, right? So forgive them. And it goes back to providing that clarity on how they can support you. So you, instead of getting enraged and mad, just pull them aside, maybe pull a supervisor along and say, hey, this is what I need at this time in this season. All right. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk about was, there was a quote that says, a lot of times in corporate America, whether you're working from home and turning on your laptop in the morning or walking into an office at 8 a.m., you cannot leave your personal life at the door. Guess what? You can't take off a hat and be like, okay, I'm going to leave my grief experience at the door because I done walked into OPM or my government job or my school building. Guess what? All that comes with me. And so I have to learn how to manage my space and my emotions when I return to work. So my final point is this: what can companies do? Because I wanted to talk to the people who were going to work grieving, but you may be a business owner and you need to know how to support your employees, right? Because they're going to cost you money. How are they going to cost you money? Because they're not going to make no decisions that they're supposed to make. They're going to be depressed and they're going to be like, you know what? That $12,000 for 4 computers, that sounds great. So that costs you money. So I need you as a business owner to know that these are some things that you need to be mindful of as your workers come back, right? Please don't tell them you know how they feel. Okay, please don't tell them that, because no matter if you've dealt with the situation, you still don't know how they feel about it, right? Everybody doesn't feel the same way. So what that look like is, hey, you know, you lost your mother. Man, I can't imagine how that must feel for you, right? Not, we always want to kind of drag in our story. But I know when I lost my mom, you know, it's not about you. It's about them. And I'm not saying that you can't share your story, but what I'm saying is it has to be the opportunity. And the second part of not to do is tell them that time's going to heal. So go on back to work, to your cubicle, and, you know, give it some time. Time doesn't heal, but what does help you heal is what you do with the time. You know, so that might look like, hey, you know, how are you managing your grief experience? You know, do you know about programs or something that, you know, you can go and see, you know, something along that line. You know, don't let them grieve alone, right? Because we know that that's when people go isolate. A lot of time that's when people are suicidal, because they are alone, because they feel like nobody's talking to them. So this isn't the time to back off. This is the time to be present. And present doesn't mean you always have to talk. Presence is a card. Presence is a flower. Presence is a gift card. Presence is, you know, something that you know about this person. Maybe it's buying them a Reese cup, and you just don't even have to say anything. Just buy the Reese cup. You don't have to say, I'm buying you this Reese cup because I'm thinking about you. No, just put the Reese cup on their desk, right? And say, you know, to make you smile today, or, you know, from whoever, right? You don't have to always, you know, say, I'm putting this on your desk because you're grieving. And then lastly, the last two, one is be strong. Please don't tell them to be strong. It's always the strong person who needs the most support but never gets it, because everybody thinks they're strong, right? So even your most strongest person, even the person who look like they just bounce back in, chances are they're wearing a mask and they are on the inside screaming because they're trying to show up in a certain way because they think that's what you want. I mean, so don't be strong. Right? There is a time when there's strength, right? Your workers are coming back, and really they may not have even had the opportunity to grieve because they've been doing what I call the business of grief. They've been dealing with the service. They've been packing up stuff. They've been trying to figure out where the family members' finances are. They've been doing a whole lot. So they ain't even had time to grieve because they've been working on what I call the business side of grief. So they already keeping busy. And that's the last thing. Please don't just keep laying on stuff because you think if they keep busy, that's going to keep their mind off of the situation, when really when they go home, because remember, they're walking across that threshold, but when they walk back, it's their reality. Everything is their reality. Work is not a break from reality. It is a part of who you are. So keeping them busy doesn't help, because then when they're not busy and the silence of the night is loud. And so keeping busy only works while you're busy. So try not to do that. And then the last thing is this, as an owner, offer EAP, employee assistant programs. Have some critical incident response teams. This is if something happens and the person is having some really critical issues. Do some things like what Ms. Tamica is doing now. Do some training, some learnings, and some developments. Bring people in to talk about it. That shows empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand what somebody's feeling and put yourself in that situation, right? So there was a study that says the more a company is empathetic to the needs of the people, the more they want to stay. So if you want them to be productive and you don't want them to just be taken off because grief brings sickness because they're not taking care of themselves, so that's also a cost to you. You want to make sure you're feeding them while they're at work, giving them something that they can put into their grief toolbox. And then the last thing is just having resources, right? Having a group at work in your company in which they can attend and be a part of. Because again, this is something that everybody in your company is going to deal with, right? And maybe you're grieving. So maybe if your company doesn't have these things, maybe you can offer these things as something that would be an added perk to your company, okay, that you work for. And so that is my time. And so I want to stop here to answer any questions that you may have. Tamika, unmute, because I know you're going to start talking. You ain't mute.
You already knew it. You already knew it. I was already jumping in, okay? So listen, we're gonna have a quick conversation while we are waiting to see what comments or what questions anyone in the audience may have at this time. So make sure you all, first of all, give Sanita a round of applause for telling us and talking to us about grief in the workplace, because a lot of times we don't deal with it. As I said, we just show up and we just keep showing up without really dealing with what we need to deal with, without allowing our bodies and our minds and our wellness to be healed before just throwing ourselves back into the thing. I know for myself, I did a lot. Okay. I was doing a lot for a long time of just sitting here. Let me do this. I was telling, I think it was on Monday, and I said, I became a painter, a seamstress. I did puzzles, you know what I'm saying? I was doing all the things and some, just to fill voids because of it. Right. But it wasn't necessarily a thing to do. It wasn't a healthy thing to do because I was wearing myself out. I'm just like, well, listen, I got to go finish this puzzle. Hold on now. Oh my gosh. But thank you for sharing about grief, and just allowing us to remind everybody that it's okay to not be okay all the time. And I love how you said that, with corporations and companies, everybody is going to go through some level of grief at some point in their lives. And it's not necessarily just about losing a loved one, but there's different types of grief that people experience. And so I love that. I'm looking forward to what you've got to do in corporate. Okay.
I was thinking, I was like, boy, maybe I need to, pivot towards that. I need to talk to you offline. But yeah, so I think that, because it is overseen, right? It's not like, I think now people like post-COVID, everybody is like more open to these dialogues about mental health and grief, because some people want to stand off on it, right? Like, I don't want to talk about that. It's so hard. But the truth of the matter is, everybody is this is the one topic that everybody is one way or another is going to experience grief, right? Like before, me, like I used to just talk about pregnancy and infant loss. Everybody might not experience that, but everybody is going to experience grief, whether you like it or not. It's there, right?
Absolutely. And that's the thing, how you said that a lot of people are now being okay with talking about it just a little bit. It's the same thing with mental health and mental wellness. Those things, they're neck and neck, they're hand in hand, right? Because a lot of people are still seeing the subject and the topic of mental health and mental wellness as taboo. Oh, I don't want to tell nobody I'm really going through it. I don't really want to tell nobody. I really need to talk to somebody. I don't want nobody in my business like that.
Oh, you said that right there. I don't want nobody in my business. But guess what? Everybody gonna know, because guess what? You're gonna try to bottle that in. It's just like a soda when you shake it, you open it, and because you didn't deal with it, and it's just on the inside shaking, and then it's gonna be that one thing that has absolutely nothing to do with the person that you're talking to. But they're gonna say something, and that top gonna explode, and they are gonna be the recipient of all of the stuff that you hadn't dealt with. And they're gonna be like, what in the world? All I said was, did you want popcorn? And she unleashed, right? Because all I did was accidentally bump her, or all I did was accidentally not give them a piece of the project that we were working on. I mean, like I left one piece of you know, and I forgot to staple something and they just erupted on me. And usually that's what happens. And that's why we have to talk about it when it comes to the workplace, because people going back to work, whether you're a business owner or whether you are working for someone else, you're going to return to work.
Absolutely, absolutely. So both Rod and Ivory said that this was definitely a necessary discussion. So we appreciate you for being here and talking to us about it. And Ivory says the sad thing is that people already know your business, right? They do. But do they care? Okay.
But see, that's the part with the empathy, right? A lot of companies in general, co-workers, some people are empathetic and some are not. But that's our culture. Our culture, the US culture is, okay, that happened. Okay, I gave you a few days and now you just need to get on with it, you know, but that's just not the reality, right? That's not how it works. You can't just be like, okay, I buried my son on Sunday, and then the inconsistency of how much time people are given. Some people are given 3 days. So you mean to tell me I only got 3 days to plan my loved one's service and have the service and go to work in 3 days? Impossible. My mind is not even going to be there. My body's going to be in the chair, but my mind is way somewhere else. So that's why
that. And I think the fact that if they factor in, let us give them a proper time to grieve. Let's give them a proper time to deal with this loss instead of rushing them back to work, because they get back to work, they about to mess up your numbers real bad. Okay.
They're not going to be present. They're going to be in the seat, but they're not present. And we all know, we've all been in places where we've been, and not even in bereavement, we've just been somewhere but not present, right? They're there, but they don't want to be. They're going to answer the phone nasty. They're going to be upset. You know, they're not going to give their full ability, not because they don't want to, they just cannot, you know what I mean? And so that's one of those things what I was going to say, as a company, give them time. Okay, I know that the policies say that you can only have 3 days or 4 days or maybe a week, but maybe I can give you some comp time. Maybe I can give you some time. You can't do it all in 1 week, but how about we sit down and try it out, jot out where we can use these days. I'm going to give you these days because I know that was hard, especially when your employee comes to you and they're like, it's hard. This is hard. I'm struggling. So you got to kind of go out of your way, because you're going to have to be able to make those hard decisions.
Absolutely. I love this. This is a really great conversation, really great presentation, I should say, that you've given us today when it speaks to grief in the workplace, because this is really, again, we're touching every area of women's lives, and leadership in the workplace is definitely one of them. And how do we manage our emotions? How do we manage our grief? How do we show up, and how do we ask for that time off? How can we be more vocal when we need that time, without feeling that there's going to be some repercussions that because we asked for that time, right? So those are a lot of questions that we need. No,
I was going to say, take those mental health days, right? Like I told you, I'm a teacher now. The students actually have mental health days. It doesn't count against them if they use a mental health day, right? So use it. That's where the honesty is. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to say why you need it. It may not even be about grief, because sometimes you may not be grieving, but you just need a day. Right. Use those days that are given, right? You're not going to get no trophy for holding on to your leave, right? So just use it if you need it, right?
Absolutely. So thank you, Sanita. This has been amazing. I appreciate you. I appreciate your expertise and your experiences in dealing with grief. Because again, when we pull from our own experiences and tell how we were able to deal and heal and do better and overcome, it helps somebody else come out of the place where they are. So again, I appreciate you for sharing. Aubrey says, I used to make my soldiers take mental health days. Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
I saw somebody else said, I was trying to scroll through I just saw it. Never mind. I think it was Dr. Shaniqua Johnson said that it's okay to change the expectation.
Expectations, yeah. Tell people what you need.
Be
Absolutely.
honest, especially at that like very onset, we always be like, I don't know, I don't need nothing. You do.
You
Bring
do.
me a plate, bring me something, bring me a gift card. Even when they say no to you, just real quick, if they say no to you, just bring a gift card. Right? Just bring a gift card because it's always then no time to cook, right? Bring gift card, bring money, just mail the card with it because they're going to tell you they don't need anything. Because a person that's grieving, they can't tell you what they need at that moment. They don't know. They just in a survival mode. So they don't really know. So again, that's where the empathy come in. Think about when you was in that initial grief moment, when you got that call, when we got that call about my grandmother, it was immediate. Somebody would have asked me, what do I need? I would have told them I don't know. So put yourself in that situation and say, this is what they need. Don't ask them, can I buy you? No, because they're going to say, no, I don't need it. So give it to them anyway. Give it to them in a gift card. Give it to them because I promise you they're going to need it.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is amazing. We definitely going to do a part 2 and probably a part 3 and a part 4 because I already see it in my head. How can
Uber Eats? Yeah,
absolutely order that Uber Eats. They'll deliver you and you ain't got to leave the house.
Okay? Make it a surprise. Uber Eats.
Absolutely. So, how can the viewing audience find you, connect with you, and learn more about grief in the workplace?
Sure. So they can go to my website. That's the best place. It's Joy Breakforth, JOI Breakforth.com.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so I'm gonna put this here right at the bottom of the screen. So you all make sure you visit joybreakforth.com, connect with Sanita, learn more about grief and how you are able to manage your emotions and manage your grief and find ways to deal and heal with it all. So thank you, Sanita. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You have a great evening. This has been one amazing conversation, one amazing night for energizeHER Leadership Summit. I am so blessed and I appreciate all of you for being here. If you're just tuning in or if you're coming back, make sure you go and watch the replay. It's been some amazing presentations all night long, from when we kicked off with Veronica Burnett, who told us to stop hiding. Stop hiding, okay? Then we had our lively panel discussion with Kim Stringer, Tamara, Gooch, Tameka, Lloyd, and LaJune Singleton, as we talked about mudslides and miracles, basically how to overcome life's obstacles. What does it look like going through life's obstacles, and how do we overcome? How do we deal with them? Go back and listen to it. It will bless your heart, I promise you. Then we had our workshop with Dr. Stefany Jones, who talked to us about the strength of a purpose pivot, how to curate a life by design and dreams by measure. Absolutely phenomenal. Watch the replay. And we closing it out with Sanita Mitchell, who was talking to us and took us all the way to corporate, okay? She took us to corporate into our leadership as we spoke about grief as she spoke about grief in the workplace. How do we deal with our grief so that we can begin to show up in the workplace again? But she hit us with a staggering stat of how much money it costs companies because of their employees not being well and can't show up for work. But also the cost on the person, because when we're holding on to all of that grief, it makes us sick. We're not going to be healthy. So again, if you have not checked out the entire night, go check it out. It's been an absolutely amazing, phenomenal night, and I'm so blessed for all of these women who showed up and shared transparently and authentically shared it. I thank all of you who showed up here with us and engaged with us and talked to us and engaged with all of the speakers. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for sharing. I appreciate you for engaging, asking questions, commenting. I appreciate everything it is that you are doing. So thank you all. Thank you all. Tomorrow is the final night of the Energizer Leadership Summit. and it's going out with a bang. Okay, we started with a boom, end with a bang. Somebody said that to me years ago, and I forget who it was. However, we're ending this thing with a bang. All right. We have Dr. Shaniqua Johnson tomorrow. Yes, Dr. Shaniqua Johnson, keynote speaker. We have keynote speaker Simone Walden coming in the house at the student teacher. We have our panel, My Mental Wellness Matters, Therapy for the Human Soul. Okay, it is moderated by my good girl Ivory Claire, and we have Stacey J. Robinson, and I'm actually going to be joining that panel tomorrow as well. So I'm excited for My Mental Wellness Matters, and we have a workshop with Anisha Nelson. We have a workshop that Anisha Nelson will be providing to us, and you don't want to miss that. You do not want to miss that workshop tomorrow. I don't want to even share too many details tonight. Y'all gonna, follow at energizeHER, follow at energizeHER. Learn more about all of the ladies who are speaking, who are here, who is coming up. Follow at energizeHER on all platforms, at energizeHER. You'll learn more about the speakers. You'll learn more about their presentations, their workshops, and all the things. But I will tell you that Anisha tomorrow will be speaking on a journey to self-care. She's going to be speaking on self-care and us as women. What are some things that we should do specifically when it comes to our self-care, right? And then to cap it all off, our final act, okay? The final act. We have one of our fave gents joining us to close out this week, this energized week. We have myself, we have Ivory Claire, we have Dr. Tavis. Tell her she'll be back in the building on Friday, and Gerard Ware. He'll be joining us on Friday, on tomorrow, as we wrap this all up, as we wrap up the Energizer Leadership Summit. So listen, at the end of the day, you couldn't have gotten this anywhere else. Okay, energizeHER Leadership Summit is only going to be with the Energizer brand first and foremost. However, the diversity that we have had of women who have come on to share all of these amazing topics and conversations and presentations, it has been absolutely phenomenal. So I thank you all for tuning in tonight. I pray that you're all able to join us tomorrow night for another lively night of conversation and presentations that's going to help you embrace your life the energized way. All right. So you all have a good evening. Have a great night, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.
Are you feeling stuck, overwhelmed, and unsure of your next move in life or business? Are you seeking a supportive community where you can receive daily inspiration, accountability, guidance, and coaching to help you thrive? Introducing energizeHER Mornings.
Are you listening? Damn.
The exclusive accountability community for driven women to experience empowerment and uplifting. energizeHER Mornings is the best accountability membership program hosted by founder Tameka Chapman, created specifically for women who are struggling with their first or next move in life and business.